Hello viewer, I appreciate you being here. Today I'm going to show you how to do the non-calc section of the March 13th, 2021 SAT. Let's get into it. Okay, number one. The function h is defined by h of x is equal to negative 1/4 x minus 2, which is the graph of y equals h of x. So let's see. We're going to look to see which graph has a y-intercept of negative 2 and the slope of negative 1/4. Clearly, A and B are out because they do not have a y-intercept of negative 2. C and D have a y-intercept of negative 2. Let's see which one has a slope of negative 1/4. That means down 1 over 4. And it looks like that's going to be D. So D is our answer. Let's go to number 2. What is the positive solution to the given equation? Great. Let's just isolate the variable, put all the constants on the other side, and solve. X squared equals 81. So x is equal to 9. A is our answer. Number 3, what value of x satisfies the given equation? Okay, very similar to the previous question. Let's just solve it. X plus 7 equals 3x minus 9. So 16 equals 2x. So x equals 8. Number 4. A line in the xy plane has a slope of 1 and passes through the point 0, 2, which is an equation of the line. So it's just going to be whichever one has a slope of 1, so a coefficient of 1 next to the x. And since they told us it goes to the point 0, 2, we know the y-intercept is going to be 2. So that's going to be answer choice C. Number 5, from 1990 to 2001, German currency included coins called pfennigs. We're always learning so much valuable stuff from the SAT, especially the math section. Very good. Nice history lesson here. Worth 1 pfennig, or pfennig each, and groschen, worth 10 pfennigs each. Which equation represents the number of pfennig coins P and groschen coins G that have a combined value of 85 pfennigs? So the answer to this is going to be B. Because since the groschen is worth 10 pfennigs, to get the total number of pfennigs, we have to multiply the number of groschens by 10, add it to the number of pfennigs, and that should give us 25 as per the question. Number 6, which of the following is equivalent to 1 over x plus 1 over 2x? We're just adding fractions, right? When we're adding fractions, we need to get common denominators. So let's get common denominators. The way we can get a common denominator is take the first fraction and just multiply the top and bottom by the same number, which will be 2, because we want to get it to be a 2x, so we can add the other fraction to it. So this is equivalent to, let's see, 2 over 2x plus 1 over 2x. So this is going to be 3 over 2x, which is C. Number 7. Cool, beautiful. So we have an equation. They told us it's the equation of a circle. What are the coordinates of the center of the circle? So the way we do this, and you can find this in another video I recently uploaded, is we have to do completing the square, because in order to answer this question, really, we have to convert this equation into the standard equation of a circle. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that. So let me rewrite the equation. X squared minus 10x plus y squared plus 6y equals 2. We're going to take half of negative 10 and square it, and do the same thing to the 6y. We're going to take half of 6 and square it, and add that to both sides. So that's going to give us x squared minus 10x. Half of negative 10 is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25, plus 25, plus y squared, plus 6y, plus half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. And this is going to be equal to 2 plus 25 plus 9. Because whatever we do to one side, we have to also do it to the other side. X squared minus 9x plus 25. Let's factor it. This factors into x plus, factors into x minus 5 times x minus 5 plus y plus 3 times y plus 3. And this is going to give us, not that I think it matters that much, 36. So the equation becomes x minus 5 squared plus y minus 3 plus y plus 3 squared equals 36. So the center is going to be at 5, comma, negative 3. So our answer is C. And the radius, just so you know, is going to be 6 because it's going to be the square root of 36. Number 8. We have a couple inequalities. When graphing the xy plane, what point xy is a solution to the given system of inequalities? So for this, just plug the answer choices in and see what works. We'll start with the top inequality and the first answer choice. So if we plug in 1, 1, drop my pen. Now I got it. If we plug in 1, 1, let's just test it out. Is 1 bigger than 4 times 1? And the answer is no, it's not. So we're going to eliminate it. Let's try B. Is negative 2 bigger than 4 times negative 2? Negative 2 is bigger than negative 8, so B so far works. Let's now test it out in the next inequality. Is negative 2 less than negative 2? Negative 2 is indeed less than 2, so we know that B is our answer, and if we were to test out the other answer choices, they wouldn't work. I think one of the other answer choices works for one of the inequalities, but not the other one or something. So yeah. Number 9, the equation H equals 150 plus 10T gives the total number of housing units H in a community T months after a new zoning law was passed. How many housing units are added to the community each month after the zoning law was passed? This is just going to be the slope of the equation. So our answer is just going to be A10. Breezing through it. Number 10. Which expression is equivalent to 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 minus 5x squared minus x minus 7? Just combine like terms, that's it. 2x squared minus 5x gives us negative 3x squared. 3x minus negative x is going to be plus 4x. So like we already know, the answer is going to have to be D. But negative 2 minus negative 7 is negative 2 plus 7. So it's going to be plus 5. So our answer is going to be D. The place where people make most mistakes with this kind of a question is when they screw something up with the negatives. Like they'll do a double negative or something and forget to turn it into a positive. Number 11, y equals x minus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 2. The graph of the xy plane of the equation above contains the point A, comma B. If A is between negative 1 and 1, which of the following is not a possible value of B? So, let's go through these. We know for sure that 0 will work because we know if we plug in 1, everything is going to become 0. So C is going to be out. Let's see what else we know. What if we plug in something else? What if we plug in 0? Well, if we were to plug in 0, this would become y is equal to 0 minus 1, so negative 1 times 2. So we would get negative 2, so A would work. So we're down to B and D. Now, the next step in answering this question is probably the hardest part. What we need to understand is that no matter what, 2 of these terms are going to be positive and 1 of the terms is going to be negative. Because if A is between negative 1 and 1, anything that we plug in for x now, other than 1, which we already basically did. That's how we sort of got a b as our answer. That's how we eliminated c. If we plug in any other fraction, this first term, this x minus 1, is going to be a negative, while these other terms are going to be positive, which means no matter what, your answer is going to end up being negative, or 0, again, if we had just plugged in the actual 1. So we know our answer is going to have to be negative, so D cannot possibly work because D is positive. So the answer to this question, which of the following cannot possibly be the value of B, would be D. Number 12, 2 beach balls are each in the shape of a sphere. The larger beach ball has a diameter of 3x, and the smaller beach ball has a diameter of x. What is the ratio of the volume of the larger beach ball to the volume of the smaller beach ball? Well, the volume of a sphere, and it's given to you, is going to be volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So one way you could do this is you could actually plug in actual values. Like, you could make x equal to, I don't know, 1 or 2 or whatever. Usually you want to avoid using 1 when you're plugging in for variables though. But pick a number, find the volume, then plug in 3 times that number, find the volume, and then just find what is the ratio of the 2 volumes. That's it. Or if you have a kind of more of an understanding of this, you could sort of just plug the actual variables in. So let's say we used x. So this is for x. The volume would be 4/3 pi x cubed. Now if we use 3x, we would replace the entire r with 3x. So this would be v equals 4/3 pi times 3x cubed. So now what happens is, we're not just cubing the x, we're cubing 3x. So this actually further simplifies down into 4/3 pi times 27, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, times x cubed. So we've got an extra 27 in here that we didn't when we just plugged in x. So in other words, we're basically taking the whole equation that we got when we just plugged in x, and we're multiplying it by an extra 27. So the ratio ends up being 27 to 1. Number 13, what is the graph of the equation y equals 2 times 3 raised to the x? We can just plug in numbers, basically plug in values for x, match them to the graph, and that's it. So let's say we want to plug in 0 for x. If we plug in 0 for x, we're going to get y is equal to 2 times 3 to the 0 power, which is going to be equal to 2. So when x equals 0, y should be equal to 2. So that eliminates answer choices C and B. We're left with A and D. Now let's just plug in 1. If we plug in 1, it's going to be y is equal to 2 times 3 to the first power, which is equal to 6. So when x is equal to 3, or sorry, when x is equal to 1, y should be equal to 6. And that is going to be answer choice A. Cool. Yeah. Okay, now we move on to number 14. 14. The graph of the function f is shown. Which of the following is the value of x for which f of x is equal to 0? Basically, the question is just asking for which value of x is y equal to 0, because f of x is the same thing as y. It's just specifying that you're looking for the value of y at some value of x. So looking at it, it looks like it's going to be right here at x equals -2, at x equals 1, and at x equals 2 point whatever. Let's see which answer choice we have. We've got 1, C. So the answer to 14 is C, that's it. Number 15, the function a of t equals 12 times 2 to the t over 6 power models the number of water hyacinths, maybe, In a population over time where A of t is the number of water Hien sits and t is the time in days since the population was first measured. Let me know in the comments if I'm completely butchering the name of that use sign. Like, if any science people are in here, like, just let me know. Which is the best interpretation of 2 raised to the t over 6 power in this context? The best way to think of it is look at what the answer choices are saying and see if you can apply it to the equation, and then if it'll make sense once you've done that. So let's try A. The number of water hyacinths doubled t times. This doesn't make like sense to me. Like, why would it, like, because that's t over 6, so this doesn't make sense. I'm just going to eliminate it. The number of water hyacinths doubles every 6 days. So this means that if t were to be 6, the function would double. Well, the initial value of the function is this 12. So if we replaced t with 6, we would be left with 12 times 2 raised to the first power, which would give us 24. So in other words, it would double. So B makes sense. So I'm just going to leave it for now real quick. C, the number of water Hien sits increased by 2 every 2 over 6 days. This is a tempting answer choice, but if you plug numbers in, it ends up not working the way B works. And D is, yeah, D is also just incorrect. So B is the answer. Number 16. 4t minus AD equals 12h. The given equation can be rewritten as t equals AD plus BH, where A and B are constants. What is the value of A? So basically, it's the same equation. They just replaced some stuff and solved it. Cool. So it's solved for t. Let's just solve the equation for t. So this would mean that 4t is equal to 8d plus 12h. T then is equal to 2d plus 3h. A is the coefficient of the d variable, which means that A should be equal to 2. 17, we have a trapezoid. In the figure shown, BC is parallel to AD and AB equals CD. What is the perimeter of quadrilateral ABCD? Be very careful not to solve for the volume of the trapezoid. This is just the area. Oh, I'm sorry, the perimeter. So we just need to add up all the sides. We know the entire bottom base is 26, the top is 10. So we've got 16 left over. So let me just divide this up into kind of triangles. So we know that, let's say I'll label this as like points E and point F, just for the explanation. We know that AE plus FD has to add up to 16. So we know that this AE would be 8 and FD would be 8. We know the height is 6, right? So these right triangles become 3, 4, 5 right triangles. So if the sides are 6 and 8, the hypotenuse, hypotenuse, whatever, have to be 10. So now we just add everything together. Or all the sides, I should say. We have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 26 equals 56. Just make sure that you don't like double count any of the sides. Like, don't suddenly add in the 8s because we had written them in. Because remember, those are part of the 26. I just wrote them in the picture in order to, so you can see how we solve the question. Number 18, with an equation, beautiful. X squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. The equation above has no solutions. X equals n plus root k, and x equals n minus root k, where n and k are positive integers. What is the value of n plus k? Just the way they want the answers tells us that we have to solve this by using the quadratic formula. And I mean, this equation isn't really factorable. So we're going to do that. Let's see, do we have space here? Yeah, we have space. So I'm going to write it over here on the side. Quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. So this is going to be, let me finish it up over here. So this is going to be the equivalent of 2 plus or minus the square root. B squared is going to be negative 2 squared, so 4 minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2, because a is equal to 1. So this is equivalent to 2 plus or minus the square root of 8 all over 2. I don't know why I made that so long. Ooh, oops. Now I erased too much. Can I erase just a little bit? There we go. Cool. So this is equivalent to 2 plus or minus square root of 8 is equivalent to 2 root 2 all over 2, which is equivalent to 1 plus or minus root 2. So one solution is 1 plus root 2. The other solution is 1 minus root 2. So n is equal to 1 and k is equal to 2. So our answer is 1 plus 2, which is 3. Number 19, if x comma y is a solution to the given system of equations, what is the value of x? Just a system of equations. Solve it however you want, substitution or elimination. I'll do it by elimination right now. So the way I'm going to solve it by elimination is I'm going to multiply the entire bottom equation by 2 and then subtract it from the top equation. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation, 4x plus y equals 7. And then I'm going to multiply the entire bottom equation by 2. So I'm going to turn it into 4x minus 14y equals negative 2. And I'm going to subtract these two equations and get negative 15y equals, let's see, oops, sorry, hold up a second. This should be positive 2. So let me just redo that real quick. Yes, that should have been positive 2. So multiply the entire bottom equation by 2. That's going to get us 4x minus 14y equals 2. And now we're going to subtract them. So we're going to get negative 15y equals 5. Or, oh my god, I'm really bad. See, gotta be really careful with the negatives. Y minus negative 14, 15y equals 5. So y is equal to 1/3. And now I'm going to just plug this 1/3 in back into one of the equations and solve it for x. Let's plug it into the top equation. So I'm going to plug into the top equation. So 4x plus 1/3 equals 7. 4x is going to be equal to 6 2/3, so that's 20/3. So 4x equals 20/3. So x is equal to 5/3. Seems kind of like a weird number, and it's a little bit scary, but you can double check yourself by just plugging in the x value you got and the y value you got back into the equations and seeing if they work. And last question, number 20, 1/2 x plus 5 equals kx plus 7. In the given equation, k is a constant. The equation has no solution. What is the value of k? If the equation has no solution, it means basically that you have a set of parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if the slope on the left side of the equation is 1/2, the slope on the other side of the equation should also be 1/2. At least if the constants that are being added to them are different, because if the constants were the same, that means you're going to have the same line if the slopes are equal. But because the constants are different, it means that the slopes on each side have to be the same, because what this means is you'll essentially have like two lines with the same slope. They'll never cross. Cool. And that's it for the section. Boom. That's it. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please drop a like and smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, share the video with all your friends, and if you have anything you would like me to cover or any questions, etc., leave them in the comments below, and I will see you next time.